I have gone independent a couple times, and sometimes it was just we were doing some native code, and I didn't have enough knowledge to be participating, and so I went off to the side, went through tutorial, and then brought the team. We got back together, and we worked on. Actually, it was the second display thing, Kody, and I'm pretty certain I actually didn't do a single thing in that entire implementation that made it into the implementation, but I was the pack mule, right? I was carrying us along, but other people like you, for example, I mean, I can think of things that you did, that Jessica did, and I was just sort of the pack mule, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful having that stress relief. That you know what, I'm not by myself. I've got a whole team of people working with me, contributing. As long as I can get over my need to be the person that came up with the idea, that is one thing. You have to be okay with sharing, like not needing credit.
Right. And maybe being a little uncomfortable because you feel like, oh, wait, am I adding value here? Well, you are adding value because you're likely asking questions that make, the other person think about something in a different way and then come up with maybe a better solution.
Yeah.
So one variation that we've been experimenting with in the group that I'm working in is we actually do have some planned solo time throughout the day. And part of that's based on energy level of the team. During a retrospective, we had found that we were really tired at the end of the week, more tired than we thought we should be. So we were mixing in some solo work in there, and we're using that as time to do research. So because it's a startup environment, there are a lot of things we want to take a look at, new technologies, different things we potentially want to add to the framework. So it gives people time to go off and look at that and spike stuff, but none of that code then gets applied to the baseline. It all is really knowledge gathering. It's reading up on this article or understanding this API better, so that when you're in the mob moves so much faster, because like I think kind of the term that Brett was bringing about, like you supply that knowledge and then the rest of the team runs with it with the code.
It's like a slingshot. You got to pull back to go fast.
That's a great analogy. I love it.
I'd like to demonstrate one value of mobbing. I also a caregiver for my wife. She needs something. I'll be right back. And guess what? The mob's going to continue. And this happens all the time. Yeah. I'm going to be gone for like 35 seconds. I'll be right back. And it's not going to stop the flow. Well, except for what I just did.
I think the other thing, too, that mobbing does is it helps reduce your cognitive load of how much you're having to keep within your head, because you're constantly rotating the driver, the navigator, the mob helper, researcher in the background. What all those different roles happen is you're only spending a short period of time in each of those, and you can focus on one thing at a time, whatever your role is at that point in time. And so it drastically reduces your cognitive load. And while you think you get worn out by working in a mob, it actually frees your brain up to really do the work.
Which is a skill in itself for people in the mob to be able to not feel like they have to be involved in like every single detailed decision, right? It's okay and it gives you the opportunity when you're not the driver or navigator to step back and look at the forest instead of the trees.
Right.
I'd say it makes the team very resilient as well, because we see unexpected things happen all the time. Someone has an emergency at home or with a family member, or they're out sick or something, and the team just goes on. There's no, oh boy, look, so-and-so's not in. We don't have anyone working on that area of the code. It just doesn't happen. It's tolerant of life's unexpected things, and that's another huge benefit